Most businesses still think their website is helping them grow. It's supposed to bring in leads, it's supposed to attract customers, it's supposed to help the business scale. But after looking at hundreds of business websites over the years, I've realized something surprising. Most of them don't actually do anything. They exist, they look fine, but they generate zero customers, zero leads, and zero real growth. And once you see the patterns behind why that is, you'll start noticing the same problem everywhere you look. Now, if your business right now has a website, what I want you to use as your mantra is this 5-second business test for your website. Can a visitor understand who it's for, what problem you solve, what result you deliver, why they should trust you, and what to do next? We're going to be using this as a recurring theme because why this is so important, and I want you to think about this for a second. If on average your website gets, let's say, 100 visitors every single week, if one person becomes a customer and you sell something for $1,000, that's one sale and you just had a return on your investment. But if 5 people become customers, let's say you modify some things on the site, you just 5x'd your entire revenue without paying for a single extra visitor. It's the same amount of people who have seen the same amount of things on your site, yet you didn't spend any more money on ads, you didn't spend any more time waiting for SEO to kick in, and you didn't have to do any additional marketing or social media content. You had a website that actually works. That is the power of a website that converts visitors into customers or clients. The problem is that it's kind of an open secret inside of the web design and development community that most of them either A, they don't know how to do any of this, or B, they constantly try and tell you that looking good is the key to making more revenue from your site. Most websites are not built to get customers. They're built to look good, but they're built like digital brochures. They show information, they list services, they look nice enough, but they aren't actually designed to drive action. And businesses do not need brochures. I'm telling you this because you need to hear this if you have any hope of your website ever actually doing anything for your business. You don't need to just make it look prettier. You don't need to wait for SEO to kick in. You don't need something that is hopefully going to magically get you customers one day. You need something that actively gets you customers or clients. Businesses need customer or client acquisition systems. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do this with your site and some of the patterns to look out for so that you don't fall into this trap. So we're going to run a quick test. I'm going to show you 3 real business sites, and your job is simple. See if you can figure out what the business does, why you should choose them in about 5 seconds, because that's roughly how long visitors give a website before deciding whether they should stay or leave. And again, remember the 5-second website test. Can a visitor instantly understand who this is for, what problem you solve, what result you deliver, why they should trust you, and what to do next? If not, your website is not doing its job. Now, let's go ahead and start with our first site here. I'm going to move myself into the corner so that you can actually see. This is a managed IT services company. Take 5 seconds of your time. If you need to, pause the video. What do they do? The headline says, "We make it easy to work from anywhere." Now that sounds nice, but that could be a number of different things. It could be remote work software. It could be consulting. It could be collaboration tools, HR systems. If I'm a business owner looking for IT support, I'm not even sure I've come to the right place. And that's the big first problem that many websites have. Usually it's one of 2 things. It's vague positioning, so they're trying to be more creative or clever instead of just communicating something that's clear. I'll tell you now, if your headline, the language you use on your site is so easy a 5th grader can understand it, you're going to outperform any site that's trying to be on brand or creative or clever. Now, most sites in this category, to be clear, most MSP sites talk about technology in general, the digital transformation, the modern workplaces, the innovation, and that's the other form of unclear language, which is instead of trying to be creative or clever, you end up becoming generic, or you go above the heads of people you're trying to talk to. This usually happens when something is very technical in your industry and you're trying to communicate like another person in that industry. Either it's way too generic, like, oh, we help businesses with their technology. We are your local, friendly, trusted company that helps you with technology. That's the same thing that all your other competitors are probably probably saying on their site, or it's just completely unclear. You're speaking an entirely different language. Business owners don't buy technology. They want outcomes. They want, in this case with IT, what would a business want IT for? They want fewer outages in case they lose their data or power goes out or there's some sort of downtime. They want less downtime, just as I had kind of alluded to, faster support. If there's something wrong with my technology, I need to know who I can get a hold of and why and how fast they're going to get back to me. They want someone solving problems quickly. That's usually the fundamental basis for most businesses in this high ticket category. And the same logic would apply to many services as well. If the visitor, at the end of the day, to recap, if the visitor has to figure out what you do, they usually won't. If you make it easy for them to understand what you do and why it matters, they will become inherently interested in it. Now, if we look at our scorecard, there's no clear audience. I don't know who this is for. There's no clear problem. There is no clear outcome. I don't know what I'm getting as a result. Maybe one could say I'm going to be able to work from anywhere, but again, it's way too vague. There's some trust signals incorporated into here, some slight ones, I would say lower down on the list, but for the most part, this is a textbook website that is not going to get customers or clients. And the most important thing one could argue is there's no clear action. There's nothing on here that tells me the next step unless I scroll down and click schedule a call, but I'm not even sure what I'm scheduling a call for. So this site not only fails the 5-second test, but I would say even with a few simple tweaks, it could easily be getting a higher return on investment. I would say who it is they're actually trying to aim for. So what audience needs this most of all? What is the problem they're encountering? Problem and pain-led headlines here almost always work better than "we're so great" headlines. There needs to be a clearly defined outcome. There needs to be another line of text up just below this header over here that actually elaborates on it, and then move that button at the bottom that says schedule a call straight into this section here and tell me why I'm actually booking a call. All too often I see this, especially with really high ticket or highly technical things. I don't want to fill out your lengthy contact form and wait for you to get back to me. I don't want to get a free quote. I don't want to book a call without a clear reasoning as to why. Make it outcome based. What are they actually solving? Solve part of their problem on that call if you can. And just make it easy for people to understand what you do, why it matters, why they should choose you, and what the next step is. This site could easily probably be doubling its return on investment with just a few of these simple tweaks. Now, the second one we're going to look at is a completely different example. This is a design agency, and honestly, the site looks great. The design is very strong, the layout's very modern, and I'm going to move myself over here as well. But clearly a lot of thought went into this. But look at the headline, creativity that speaks volumes. That sounds impressive, but what does that actually mean? If I'm a business owner landing here, I still don't know what services they provide, what problem they solve, why I should hire them. This is actually a very common mistake with agencies. And in fact, I think it's a huge red flag if you go to a marketing agency or if you go to one that is adjacent to those and they themselves are not practicing what they preach. If it's difficult for me to understand why I should choose you for marketing, then I can't really trust you with my marketing, can I? They optimize for design instead of clarity. This is extremely common with any agency. But visitors aren't looking for creativity. They're looking for solutions to their problems. Design grabs attention, yes, but clarity is what actually converts customers. If we look at our scorecard, there's no clear audience. I have no idea who this is for. And even sometimes, if we want to give them a benefit of a doubt, even the language you can use can at least allude to what that audience is. If you notice, if you go to like a website designed for enterprise clients versus one that's targeting, let's say, small to medium sized businesses, they might be using the same techniques in terms of marketing, but the language they use is different. This tells me no idea who it's for. There's no clear problem. There is no clear outcome. There is some degree, I would say, of very high, or at least very highly thought out design. But again, that's not something that I would say would be trust signals. Unless this is a graphic design firm, as an example, then I know that you're going to be a good designer. But there's also no real clear action. I mean, get in touch to do what? To what is the purpose? And I guarantee you, if I click on this, it's probably going to take me to a lengthy contact form that tells me nothing about what I'm actually going to get. So this says, let's make some magic. Excited to get started, so are we. Share a few details in this form below and we'll reach out soon. Or skip the form and connect with us directly, whatever's easiest for you. I'm still not 100% sure why I should fill out this form, what I'm gonna do, or what you're gonna give back to me, how long it's gonna take for you to get back to me. Are you gonna call me? Are you gonna email me? What happens next? This is the number one thing I would actually reiterate on any site, is that it's so easy to do and yet often overlooked. If you have one primary call to action or the step you want people to take, usually it's going to be something that's like, fill out this form, book this call this number. Tell them exactly what's going to happen as a result of that. Why am I calling this number? What's the call actually going to be about? Why am I filling out this form? How long are you going to take to get back to me? And what am I going to get as a result? Or book this call to solve some specific problem in some specific time frame. That is the easiest way to increase your conversions and get a higher return on investment from your website. Now, this one does unfortunately fail the conversion test. Great design, but I would say with a few tweaks, it could easily be getting a higher return on investment, getting more people to actually become customers or clients for them. Let's look at a completely different type of business here, a landscaping company. This headline here says native landscape design, and underneath we offer a wide range of landscaping services. Now, technically, this does tell us what they do, but it still has a big problem. It is what I would call a brochure website. A shocking number of websites are still in this bucket. It tells you information, but it doesn't guide you towards action. There's no clear reason why this company is better, no clear outcome being promised, no strong motivation for me to contact them. So the visitor does what most people do online. They keep browsing and eventually they leave. So this is a classic example of, yes, it has a clear audience. It's telling me exactly native landscape design. So it's probably going to be for somebody who explicitly needs landscaping services. But again, I'd maybe say zero point 0.5, not a full one on that for a point. I would say, who are you designing landscaping services for? Are you looking for waterfront homes and mansions? Are you looking for commercial clients? Are you looking for something like, I don't know, a mall? Who are you doing landscaping for? There's no clear problem. It doesn't really tell me what this landscaping is solving. There's no clear outcome. There's no trust signals. And there's somewhat of a clear action. I mean, get started. Again, it's better than others, but it's still not built as a customer acquisition system. And this is shockingly common with local service businesses. Think plumbers, HVAC, CPAs, real estate, anything like that where you're kind of viewed as interchangeable on the market. Move all of these things into this section. The first thing they see, your Google reviews, any financing offers, something that tells me exactly what I should do, why I should do it, and what that clear action is. So realistically, if I were to scroll around, in fact, a lot of this right here tells me a lot of why this business is likely stuck. First and foremost, it's going to probably lead me to a lengthy contact form with no clear reason why I should do it. I mean, this is close. Send us all your landscaping and gardening questions that our pros will answer them promptly. Tell me what promptly means. Tell me exactly why I'm filling this out. So even if you're answering my questions, what happens next? It says request an estimate on the left side, but it also says answer your questions. Those are two very different offers. And then if I scroll down on the homepage, for example, this is really where the meat lives, which is all of the reasons I would say I would choose them. It says, we service clients in the greater Chicago area. Our professional landscapers create amazing products such as landscape design, construction, paving, and lawn maintenance. That tells me exactly what they do, where they do it. That's already a better headline than the one they have right now. And in fact, for SEO purposes, if you're still waiting for your agency to have SEO work after about 6 months, just put the name of the location in there and the services in there. If you want to make a really simple formula, we help target in area, get outcome using process. And then underneath that, elaborate on the process with your little subheader and then a CTA that's the next solution to their problem. So in this case, instead of native landscape design, I would say, something along the lines of, we help individuals in the Chicago area with landscaping services by using our whatever process. And then that CTA should say, get your free landscaping consultation, takes 15 minutes. We'll figure out based on your space, your design requirements, how you can create the perfect presentation for your home or office or whatever target they're looking for. But the patterns in here are pretty much the same. first and foremost. It's almost always going to be a few key things if we just want to elaborate more. It's usually that I don't know what it is. That's the first thing I would solve. Who is this actually for? There's no clear problem. What are you actually solving? You're trying to tell me how great you are, how local, how friendly, how trustworthy. Nobody cares about that because every other one of your competitors says the same thing. You're selling inputs, not outputs. What's your outcome? What do I get as a result of buying your stuff? Not what is the actual process. This would be like if I went to the TSA website and it said, you know what? Are you excited to go through a crusty airport, get scanned, get frisked, and then sit in there while your plane is delayed? No, they sell the destination. I want to be somewhere. I want to get off that plane. Same thing here. I don't want to have to deal with landscaping. I don't want to have to deal with IT problems. I don't want to have to deal with my marketing not working, but I do want at the other end the thing that your supposed product or service actually solves in my life. Trust signals are easily one of the simplest ones to put in. Google reviews, your awards, your presentation, your social proof, anything that actually demonstrates that you've earned what you can say. Are you the number one in this area? Do you have 10 Google reviews? Do people recommend you? Do you have a referral system? Are you part of a network? I mean, any basic thing that can says this is a slightly better business than the other one you just saw. And the clear action. This is arguably one of the simplest ones to fix, yet often overlooked. I don't want to fill out your contact form. I don't want to just schedule a call. I don't want to just get a free quote. Tell me why I'm doing it, what I get as a result of it, and how long it takes. In 15 minutes, we're going to solve this problem. All you have to do is book this call. And on that call, we're going to do one, two, three. But more or less, the pattern we see across most business websites, businesses tend to focus on the same thing. And again, this loops exactly back to what we were talking about earlier. They focus on design, colors, layout, platform, branding, WordPress versus Wix, Shopify versus BigCommerce. None of these things are the real job of your website. The real job is simple. When somebody lands on your site, only two things can happen. They leave or they take the next step. Maybe they book a call, they request a quote, they send a message, they make a purchase. That moment is a conversion. And if your website is confusing, then they leave. You might be getting tens of thousands of people every month and not knowing it, which I would encourage you to look at your site's data. But what little good it will do if out of those 10,000 people, nobody's actually taking an action. That's why a lot of business owners tend to think making it look better or running ads or driving more people to the site will fix their problem. But you always want to fix the conversion before you actually drive traffic or before you revamp the look and feel. Then once you've solved the conversion, your visitor sees the clear value, they actually take the action, they become a customer. Think of it like a simple system. Traffic, website, customers. For most businesses, the problem isn't traffic, the problem is the website in the middle. And what that boils down to is your conversion gap. Out of all of the people right now, who is actually taking the next step that you want them to take? If that part of your business, if that part of your system is broken, the whole business is going to feel stuck. Now, a good homepage should immediately answer those questions we talked about prior. Can a visitor understand? Zoom out a little bit. Can a visitor understand who this is for, what problem you solve, what result you deliver, why they should trust you, and what to do next? If those things aren't obvious in the first 5 seconds, your website isn't helping your business grow. I know, blunt, but I want you to hear it because if your business feels stuck, it is almost always not random. And the good news is the more you know, the more you're able to actually solve your constraints in your business. Thing is, one part of the system is limiting growth right now without you even realizing it. So, sometimes it's marketing, sometimes it's sales, and sometimes it even is the website itself. I built a quick 45-second growth bottleneck diagnosis. You can answer a few quick questions, and for free, it'll show you the one thing that is most likely slowing your business down. All you have to do is click on the link in the description or the pinned comment. And if you do qualify, you do get a one-on-one free audit with my team as well, where we will tell you exactly not only what is holding your business back, but how to solve it in less than 30 minutes on that call. So, because a good-looking website is nice, it is a high dopamine activity, it feels fuzzy, it looks pretty, but a website that actually brings in customers and clients, that's what makes a real difference in a business. This, at the end of the day, is what I would focus on. Solve your conversion problem. before you actually drive traffic. And conversions can mean a multitude of different things, and you won't know until you actually figure out your business's constraint and bottleneck. I hope this video was valuable to you. Make sure to subscribe. I do put out a video every single week. That's all I got for you today. Until then, I'll see you next time.